Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura, and just when I'm about to film, the lawn guy comes, so I am sorry if you hear the lawnmower in the background, but this is the only time I get to record. So here we go. It's Friday. I'm doing Friday reads. I believe, wow, this week went super fast, and I can't believe, I feel like I just videotaped my last Friday reads, and it's already Friday again. So I haven't done much about reading this week. I have been journaling and art journaling a lot this week. I did take a class in demystifying art journal media, and I've been doing that every day. If you follow me on Instagram, it's the same. I use the same name as my YouTube channel on Instagram. You will see the pages that I've been doing with my art journal. So learning a lot, using lots of paints, which I hardly ever do. I also brought out embossing powder and been doing that as well. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing. But I do have a review for you. I finished a book today. I've been listening to it on audio. I belong to Scribd. I still have a subscription to it, and I'm really enjoying the audiobooks because I can do my exercise and listen to a book, or I can sew and listen to a book. So I'm really enjoying audiobooks at this time. So the book that I finished and highly, highly recommend is, the book is called, I have it written down, it's called Let That Shit Go, and I really needed it at this time in my life. I really needed some positive reinforcement to think positively, to take my feelings and address them, and also let them go, let my feelings go, but still process my feelings, as I've been feeling very blue lately, and this book has certainly helped me deal with these feelings. I also took a class on Doodle My Emotions, and that helped as well. So I've been working on myself because May is Mental Health Month, and it really, really, really helps me. I've been listening to the audiobook as I exercise, so I've been riding my bike. I've been doing the elliptical alongside with my family as they work out as well, and so that's what I've been listening to. Highly recommend the audiobook. I even started another journal. I have a insert in my A5 cheek Sparrow that I now am calling my brain dump journal. This is where if my mind is constantly hounding me about something, some kind of feeling, my husband's bothering me, or something's bothering me, I'm not being invited, or that type feeling, instead of it repeating and driving me crazy, I'm now writing it down in my journal. Yes, I'm writing the bad stuff down, I'm writing the good stuff down, so I'm letting it go, letting it into that journal, and it's really, really been helpful to help me out through this emotional process that I'm dealing with right now. Highly recommend the book. So if you can, they have it on Scribd, so yes, try to get the audio book. It is amazing. And yeah, so that's the book that I finished. Okay, so the book that I am currently reading in the middle of is Emily Gone. Now, I know I said last week that I wasn't feeling the book, but it started to pick up, and I think I'm on page 50, 60. I'm reading it on my Kindle. I'm trying not to scroll Facebook so much, because when I scroll Facebook, that's when I get in this rut, and I feel it just brings me down. So I am trying to read instead on my laptop. So I've been reading Emily Gone, and it's about a little baby that gets kidnapped. So yeah, so that's the book that I'm reading. Besides that, I think The Good Sister, I haven't read anything since last Friday, I know. And The Stand, I don't know if I'll ever get back to The Stand. Who knows? It's on my Kindle, I do on the book. So anyway, so you are here to see me knock down my TBR. This is getting harder and harder because I'm getting less messages below. So half these books I don't even know if I'm going to keep or not. So I'm probably going to read a lot of the first chapters. So go get some coffee or whatever, and we'll go through these books. So let's start with, I have them sitting, I didn't move them since the last video, so they're sitting right here. So let's start with the first pile, which is this one here. Okay. The first pile is Bras and Broomsticks and Frogs and French Kisses. Now, I don't know which one's one and which one's two, and I can't look it up because I'm videoing on my phone. So, I'm gonna assume that, I don't know. Let's try to read this one. It might be book 2, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't say on the back. Praise for Bras and Broomsticks. Screamingly funny. Sure to be popular. Yeah, let's read. Okay, I'm gonna do this one. Frogs and French Kisses. Let's read the first page and see if it's even worth it. Okay. My love life is up in the air, and so am I. That's how it starts. I'm perched on a floating broom, my arms squeezing the life out of my little sister's waist. You girls all right? My mom calls down. She's watching us from behind the second-story cottage window. You're not airsick. Maybe I shouldn't have let you talk me into this. I'm fine, Mary chirps. So I'm thinking I'm going to keep the book because it's about little children, I believe. I don't really know, but I'm going to keep both of them and try again another time. Okay. This one, Don't Close Your Eyes. I believe I read, this is 3 books in one. I read book 1 already, so I'm going to keep it because I did enjoy it, and I think I gave it a 4 stars. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm going to skip it and go on to the next one. Rain and Rain. I heard this one was amazing. So, yeah, let's try to read it. Chapter 1. Who I Am. A girl named Rose. Or Rose, R-O-W-S. I am Rose, and my first name has a homonym. To be accurate, it has a homophone, which is a word that's pronounced the same as another word but spelled differently. My homophone name is Rose, R-O-W-S. Most people say homonym when they mean homophone. My teacher, Mrs. Russell, says this is a common mistake. What's the difference between making a mistake and breaking a rule, I want to know. Making a mistake is accidental. Breaking a rule is deliberate. So I did stumble a few times, but I think I may keep it because I think the whole book is about words that mean the same. And I'm going to try it out. So I'm going to keep it. Okay, next book. Sparrow Hill Road. So let's see what this one's about. Campfire Stories. There is nothing more human than the ghost story. Every culture in the world creates hauntings for itself. Things that lurk in the shadows and the wait for the unwary. Yet at the same time, there are certain ghost stories and certain forms of haunting that seem to be quintessentially American. This leads us to the story of the Phantom Prom Date. Her story is considered an example of the hitchhiking ghost subtype. See Appendix A. All right, so I am going to donate it because the paragraph is huge. This is how long the paragraph. I did stumble a few times. Yeah, it's gonna probably drive me nuts. So I am putting it in the donation pile. All right, let's go to the next one. Far, far away. Yeah. Okay. What follows is the strange and fateful tale of a boy and a girl and a ghost. The boy possessed uncommon qualities. The girl was winsome and daring. And the ancient ghost, well, let it only be said that his intentions was good. I think I'm going to keep it. Yeah, it's about a boy, a girl, and a ghost. Sounds pretty interesting, even though the other book was about ghosts too, but I think I did read it better than the other books, so I'm going to keep it. Let's go on to Unwritten. Unwritten, where is chapter 1? Okay, chapter 1 starts Christmas Eve. 18 hours earlier because there is a prologue and I just skipped that. I rubbed my eyes, blew the steam off my Waffle House coffee, and steered with my knees. I need coffee. I was neither passing nor being passed, just fitting in, drawing no attention, something I was good at. My speedometer was hovering around 77 miles an hour, as was the rest of the neighborhood herd of nighttime travelers. Hypnotized by the dotted line, I counted back through the days, 9 years, or was it 10? At first they moved slowly, every minute a day, every day a year, but sitting here the days lined up like dominoes outside the windshield. Time had been both a blind and a long sleep. So, what do I do? I didn't really get much. It does take place on Christmas Eve. I don't know. I think I'm going to donate it. So it didn't really grab me. And yeah, it was a little winded and long. All right, let's move on to the next book. This is so hard to get rid of books. Spy Mom. And this is double the fun, 2 novels in one. So there's 2 novels in here. Let's try to read the first one. It's called Original Sin, and the second book is called To Sin Again. So let's go to the very first one. And it says, I know I'm not crazy. I know this because it said so in my file while I stole out of Director Gray's office on a drunken dare from a guy who eventually disappeared in Somania. Somewhat emotionally detached, the file said, and loose with the truth. Yes, but in the eyes of the agency, there were positive attributes. A red star at the top of my file corresponded to a note stuck to the inside cover. Refer to Simon, the note said. The question mark has always troubled me. They were never sure I could cut it. Okay, so the first thing is she said she was drunk, and I don't really like reading about drunks, but it is about mental health. I think I'm going to donate it. So, yeah, it's called The Spy Mom. Donate it. Okay, I'm getting rid of a lot of books. Inside the Mind of Gideon Rayburn is the next book. Acknowledgements. Who Am I is the name of the chapter. Like most girls, I want a lot. fame and fortune, equal rights, shoes no one else has. But I'd trade all that in the perfect guy. Don't tell me there is something wrong with that. I don't know of a single person who doesn't spend most of her time thinking about love. Anyway, ever since I could think, I had been imagining and reimagining the exact sort of boy I want to love and who would love me back. Basically, I imagine someone who has all the good attributes at the male species, and those bad ones wouldn't ruin my life. So, yeah. I think I'm going to keep it and read a little bit more. Yeah, so let's just keep it. The next one is called Crooked, and it's written by two authors, and where is chapter 1? Okay, so here we go. Keeping the locks locked. Before everything stopped being normal, the thing that Clara Wilson worried most about was her nose. It wasn't straight. The bridge began in a good downwardly vertical line, and then it just swooped off to the left. It was crooked even in her baby pictures. It looked as if someone, a doctor, a nurse, God in a mean mood, had laid a finger at the side of her nose and pushed the straightness right out of it. The problem was, a crooked nose could make a whole face look crooked. Even when she was in a good mood and smiling, some little part of Clara was observing herself. She smiled a crooked smile, she would think. She grinned a crooked grin. She walked a crooked smile. A crooked mile, I'm sorry. I'm going to keep it and read a little bit more. That was the first paragraph. We're moving on to the next 20 books. So, yeah. Okay, so this next pile has a lot of the same authors in it. So I am going to try to read some, and one author I already read before, so I'm probably going to keep those books. So I'm just not going to read the first paragraph. So let's go. For the very first one, it's called, I have White Trash Beautiful and White Trash Damaged. So I'm going to try to read, I believe the beautiful one is book 1, I hope. But I am going to read the first paragraph and see if it actually grabs my attention. Chapter 1. I'm not naive. I know I don't get the happily ever after. My knight in shining armor took the highway detour around this godforsaken shithole. I've made peace with that. That doesn't mean I'm going to lie down like a doormat and let every cocky prick in the trailer park have his way with me. I'll be right there, I snarled at Larry. He is a cook here at Dagger's Diner, and he is also Aggie's husband. His hair is long and greasy, hanging in thick gray clumps around his weathered face. He is almost always a mean and nasty old man. So it sounds really interesting. Even though they did curse twice, I think I might enjoy this one. So I think I'm going to keep both books because, yeah, I want to read more. So I'm going to keep that. All right, let's move on to, first of all, I want to go to an author that I am going to keep. Jojo Moyes. I did read her books before. I have 2 of them. I have Night Music and Wind Fallen that I would like to read one day. So I'm keeping them because I did read that author before. All right, so let's move on to this author. It's a new author to me. Don't know. I have 3 books. They are not series, I believe. I think they're standalones. It's Graham Masterton. Should I try to read one? You know what? I don't know what to do. let's try to read Devil in the Gray, and let's see if I could even read it. Let's see. Okay. Chapter 1, Devil in the Gray, I'm reading. Okay. Downstairs, the long case clock in the hallway struck 3. 1 pause. 2 pause. 3, as if it were dolefully counting out how many lives would be lost before it struck again. Jerry finished slapping paste onto the second to last roll of cornflower patterned wallpaper and began to climb up the stepladder with it double folded over his arm. 3 more lengths and the nursery would almost be ready for baby, just as soon as baby was ready for the nursery anyhow. I think I'm going to keep them, and I'm going to try this author out because I don't want to get rid of them because I haven't read the author yet. So I'm going to keep all 3 books. All right, so the next one is, I have 2 by the same author as well. You know what? I'm not even going to try to read it. It makes the video way too long. I think I'm just going to keep it and try to read them. So, yeah, I'm going to keep both. All right, let's go to the next one and try to read this one. This is not good because I didn't get rid of any books the second pile. So this is the next one, and it's called How to Build a Girl. So let's try to read it. Okay. Chapter 1. I am lying in bed next to my brother, Lupin. 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 He is 6 years old. He is asleep. I am 14. I am not asleep. I am... I am... She's 14 and she's masturbating. I look at my brother and think nobly, this is what he would want. He would want me to be happy. You know what? I just can't. 14-year-old, there's a lot more. If I read down a little more, there's like sexually and adolescence and all that. There's some words that are not appropriate on the next few pages down. I'm getting rid of this one. I'm sorry, I'm blushing here, but yeah. That's going in my donation pile. The first page, wow, can you believe? Okay, let's move on to the next pile. Yeah, I am not a prude, but still, I don't know. All right, we're gonna go on to the next pile and see if I can donate any of these. I Let You Go is the first book. And you know what? It is a Book of the Month Club book, which doesn't belong here. So I am going to put it on my shelf downstairs because I have all my books of the month down there. I'm not going to read it, but I'm going to keep it. The next one is the Conspiracy of Ravens. And let's try to read this one. Okay. I'm going to try to read it, but I know I'm going to stumble. October, the harbinger of winter, had fallen upon England. A cold, blustery day swept across London and the many houses that bordered the city itself. Lady Seraphina Trent stared out the window, and the gloom of the day dampened her spirit. The enormous oaks seemed to be spectrous, raising skeletal limbs toward the sky. Okay, it is very descriptive, and I don't know if the whole book is like that, but I can't do it, so I am donating it. Okay, next book, Visions. Is that what it says? Visions is the name of the book. Visions. This is by Lisa McMahon. Okay, so the first book, I think it's 3 books in one. It is Crash, Bang, and Gasp. And the first book is called Crash, and I'm going to read the first book. My sophomore psych teacher, Mr. Polezzi, says knowledge is crucial to understanding the workings of the human brain, but I swear to dog, I don't want any more knowledge about this. So I think that this is it says sophomore teacher. So this is great for my children to read. So I am going to put it on their shelf downstairs, and hopefully they will pick it up and read it. So that's that one. Let's go to Patient Zero, and I think this is about zombies. And I am watching The Walking Dead. I'm on season 9, episode 9, I believe. I'm almost finished. But part 1 is called The Walkers, and chapter 1 is super short. It's this long. This is chapter 1, and this is chapter 2. So love that about it. I think I'm gonna keep it, and I have a bookmark that it just fell out of the book, so that's pretty cool. And I'm going to keep it and try to read it one day. All right, so let's go. Keeper of the Lost Cities is a middle grade book, and let's see if I even can read it. Miss Foster. Mr. Sweeney's nasal voice cut through Sophie's blaring music as he yanked her earbuds out by the cords. Have you decided that you're too smart to pay attention to this information? Sophie forced her eyes open. She tried not to wince as the bright fluorescence reflected off the vivid blue walls of the museum, amplifying the throbbing headache she was hiding. No, Mr. Sweeney, she mumbled, shrinking under the glares of her now staring classmates. She pulled her shoulder-length blonde hair around her face, wishing she could hide behind it. This was exactly the kind of attention she went out of her way to avoid. Why she wore dull colors and lurked in the back, blocked by the other kids who were at least a foot taller than her. It was the only way to survive a 12-year-old high school senior. I am going to donate it. I didn't really enjoy what I read, so yeah, sorry if it's your favorite book. Monster, very popular. I think I'm going to try to, I'm going to keep it and try to read it one day. The Traveler's Rest. So let's see. Movable Things is chapter 1. Perhaps the immobility of the things that surround us is forced upon them by our conviction that they are themselves and not anything else, and by the immobility of our concepts of them. For it always happens that when I woke like this, and my mind struggled in an unsuccessful attempt to discover where I was, everything would be moving around me through the darkness, things, places, and years. It sounds interesting. I think I'm going to try to read more, and I'm going to keep it. So let's put it there. Fern Michael, someone said to keep it, so I am keeping it. Let's try True. And okay, so the very first line on chapter 1. Getting drunk was not in my plans for Friday night. Neither was admitting to my roommates, Jessica and Kyle, that I was a virgin. Okay, so I am getting rid of it because she's drinking. Yeah. I don't like drinking books. I'm sorry. I don't know. I just don't enjoy it. So, yeah, let's try Waking Up in Heaven. And introduction, forward, what? Chapter 1. It all started with a panic attack. I'd had panic attacks in the past, and I knew what it felt like to have my lungs suddenly fail me. But what I experienced in December 2009 was worse. This was me gasping and choking and fighting to take in any air at all and being unable to catch a single breath for a minute or longer. And the more I couldn't breathe, the more panicked I got, which made it even harder to catch my breath. It started happening more regularly, and a couple of times the attacks were so bad I had to be rushed to the hospital to get oxygen. This sounds really interesting. I am going to keep it and read more one day. All right, so I have this pile here. I have 2 more piles to go. Oh, I'm trying to grab it. So, okay, so the next book I have is We Are Called to Rise is the first one. Okay, the first chapter is called Avis. There was a year of no desire. I don't know why. Margot said I was depressed. Jill thought it was the change. That phase made me laugh. I didn't think I was depressed. I still grinned when I saw the Roadrunner waiting to join me on my morning walk. I still stopped to look at the sky when fat clouds piled up against the blue, or in the evenings when it's streaked orange and purple in the west. Those moments did not feel like depression. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep it and read it a little bit more. So that's that one. Okay, so the next one is The Friends We Keep. And chapter 1. Here we go. Was it wrong to want to pee alone? Gabrielle considered the question for maybe the 400th time in the past couple of months. In truth, she loved everything about her life. Her husband, her 5-year-old twin daughters, her pets, her house. All of it was an amazing gift. She got that. So she has twins. I love that about that. She's married. I am going to keep it and read more. It comes in waves. It comes in waves. It takes place in Colorado. Here we go. There was a time when Claire looked forward to storms, the kind of crackling skies and wild winds that would send most girls under their covers. Those were her very favorites, because the bigger the storm, the bigger the swells. Waves that would quiet those sanctimonious sufferers who came from Malibu or Oahu. Oh, I don't know how to say this. Oahu, and scoffed at her little Folly Beach tubes, the kind of waves that could hush the world, that reminded her why the ocean was always her master and never her friends. Yeah, I am going to donate it because I can't figure out how to say those words. So here we go. The member of the family, a member of the family. Chapter 1. It is all in dialogue. So it says, Mama. Yes, honey? You know who's stupid? Don't say that word, Michael. Mrs. Dorosky's stupid. That's who. Michael? Mama. Yes, honey. You heard when Daddy said what Daddy said about George Washington? What about George Washington? When Daddy said about George Washington wore dead people's teeth from dead soldiers, they took their teeth even though they were dead, remember? So this seems interesting and I want to read more. I'm going to keep it to read more about that one. Okay, The Night Sister is the next one. Chapter 1 is about Amy. And Amy's heart hammers and her skin is slick with sweat. Focus, she tells herself. Don't think about the thing in the tower. Amy knows that if she thinks too hard about it, she won't be able to do what needs to be done. She looks down at the photo, the old black and white print she's kept all these years, hidden away in the drawer of the bedside table. It's been handled so much that it's cracked and faded, one of the corners torn. Yeah, I want to read a little bit more. I think I'm going to keep it. The next book is an author I read before. I'm going to keep it. This one, someone said to keep it. So, yeah, I am going to keep this one. Let's try The Woman Upstairs and see what this one is about. The Woman Upstairs. Chapter 1. How angry am I? You don't know. You don't want to know. Nobody wants to know about that. I'm a good girl. I'm a nice girl. I'm a straight-A, straight-laced, good daughter, good career girl, and I never stole anybody's boyfriend, and I never ran out on a girlfriend, and I put up with my parents' shit and my brother's shit, and I'm not a girl anyhow. I'm only 40 fucking years old, and I'm good at my job, and I'm great with kids, and I held my mother's hand when she died after 4 years of holding her hand while she was dying, and I speak to my father every day on the telephone, every day, mind you. And what kind of weather do you have on your side of the river? Because here it's pretty gray and it's a bit muggy too. It was supposed to say great artist on my tombstone, but if I died right now, it would say such a good teacher, daughter, friend instead. And what I really want to shout, and what in big letters on that grave too, is fuck you all. Don't all women feel the same? The only difference is how much we know we feel it. How in touch are we with our fury? We're all furies except the ones who are too damn foolish. Okay, so first of all, they cursed, and I hate that. As you can see, I was starting to breathe and panic. Yeah, she actually said the F word twice on the first page. Let's see. Do I even try to read more, or is it going to frustrate me? I don't know. I don't know what to do here. I'm going to try to read a little bit more, even though that did bother me. Yeah, I'm going to keep it and see. Yeah, I know I'll probably wind up DNF it, but let's try. I forgot to remember. No, I don't know if this is a memoir. It says a memoir of amnesia. This is, can be nonfiction. I'm not sure. Let's try to read it. These are the days of our lives. Yeah, I love that quote in the beginning. I think that I am going to keep it just because I love that quote. So these are the days of our lives. I don't know if you know, if you watch my channel for a very long time, I was a Days of Our Lives fan for years. I started watching it in my teens. Bo and Hope was my favorite characters. And I watched it for years. I just recently stopped watching it. Like, I did stop watching it twice in the 40 years that it's been on, 50 years that it's been on. I stopped watching it when Marlena got possessed, and then I just recently stopped watching it when Jennifer's daughter left the show, and I got really pissed off, and then I just stopped watching it. So I haven't watched anything recent, but I was a major fan for a very long time. So as far as this book goes, I'm going to keep it. Okay, he wants. So, yeah. What do you want is the name of the chapter. The front door is mostly glass, a pane as tall and wide as a man. In town at night, the shop front windows are protected with steel mesh screens and metal shutters. Even the churches have grills over the stained glass windows. This cafe is not in the town, though. It is in the village, and the owner has nothing like that. Just a lock on the wooden frame of this single glazed door. It is not nighttime anyway. It is broad daylight, mid-morning. The door frame is painted yellow, a warm, bright yellow like sunshine or pollen. There is a handsome sign hanging on the door behind the glass. It says, "Welcome," but the lettering is small and the greeting appears tentative. It is the sort of sign that is hung with string and could be flipped around when your welcome was withdrawn. That didn't give you really much. I think I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it and try to read a little bit more. The next pile, the last pile, I have 10 more books to go. And let's go through this. I did look up this book, Lovely. It is a nonfiction book, so it is going on my nonfiction shelf. Yes, so it is about child abuse. I like to read books about that. I don't know why, but yeah. Anyway, Forgotten is the next book. Forgotten. Should I start with the prologue? You know what? I'm going to start with the prologue. I haven't been doing that. I've been doing the first chapter, but let's start with the prologue. My mother's funeral was a small affair on a hot Tuesday. Her best friend, Sunshine, spoke about their girlhood together like it was more real to her than the airless, flower-filled room we sat in. A few of our colleagues from the university wore black and looked sad. My boyfriend Craig pulled at the collar of his shirt and held my hand awkwardly. Only my best friend Stephanie had any clue what to say, how to comfort me. Afterwards, I walked around half awake for days, but at night, half awake was too awake to sleep. I knew I should take the pills my mother's doctor slipped into my hand shortly after he pronounced her dead, but I didn't want to lose control of my thoughts of her. I wanted to remember her as she'd been while I grew up, not what she'd become as she lay dying, and I didn't trust my sleeping brain not to betray me. I am going to read more because I like to learn more about the grandmother and all that, so I'll keep that one. Hand Me Down is the next book. Chapter 1, where are you? Chapter 1. I love the doodles. Look at the doodles. So cute. Anyway, the second time Ian came into my life, I was trapped under a pile of bodies behind the sheet of plate glass. I just graduated from Santa Barbara, my hometown school. I'd finished at the top of the middle of my class, which is the story of my life, and a week later had grabbed the bottom rung of corporate America. I was folding men's charcoal woolens at Banana Republic when my manager materialized at my shoulder. "You've almost got it," Jenny chirped. "First the sleeve, then over," showing me yet again how to fold a sweater. I gritted my teeth and gestured into my pile. Mine are fine. Good enough for the Gap. Jenny smiled encouragingly. Maybe. Maybe I should do the windows instead. You can't do the windows, but I want to do the windows. Sorry, she said, and scuffled into the back office. I am going to keep it because I love the little doodles, and I think there's doodles throughout. Yeah. I'm going to keep it and read a little bit more. All right, let's go to No One Needs to Know. Is this one? Chapter 1 takes place in Washington, Wednesday, May 28th. It does not have a year. It has a time. It's 10:51 p.m. Lori had a bad feeling about the man who stepped inside the restaurant just 10 minutes before closing. There were no other customers in the place. The last one had left about 5 minutes ago. So this seems interesting. I'd like to learn more, and I'm going to keep it. So that's that. My Life with the Altar Boys. I have a few more to go. Chapter 1. I didn't own a single pair of jeans. It's crazy, I know, because what 16-year-old girl doesn't have at least one pair? Maybe with a tear in the left knee or a heart doodled across the thigh in Sharpie. I'm going to keep it because 16-year-old girl, my kids might want to read it, and I'm going to put it on the teenage shelf downstairs. So that is that. Going on to the next one, which is called The First 15 Lives of Harry August. So let's see. Chapter 1. I love when the chapters are super short. It's only 2 pages long. Yes. Except the second word I can't figure out how to say. So I'm going to stumble and try to get through it. The second cataclysm began in my 8th life in 1996. I was dying my usual death, slipping away in a warm morphine haze, which she interrupted like an ice cube down my spine. She was 7, I was 78. She had straight blonde hair, worn in a long pigtail down her back. I had bright white hair, or at least the remnants of the same. I wore a hospital gown designed for sterile humility. She, bright blue school uniform and felt cap. She perched on the side of my bed. Her feet dangled off it and peered into my eyes. She examined the heart monitor plugged into my chest, observed where I disconnected the alarm, felt for my pulse, and said, "I nearly missed you, Dr. August." So I'm going to try to read more. Yeah, I'm going to keep it. So that's interesting one. A Night Divided, and chapter 1. When I want the West to scream, I squeeze on Berlin. There was no warning the night the wall went up. I awoke to sirens screaming throughout my city of East Berlin. Instantly, I flew from my bed. Something must be terribly wrong. Why were there so many? Although it was a warm morning, that wasn't the reason for my sweaty palms or flushed face. My first thought was that it might be an air raid. My parents had described them to me from the Second World War. I pulled my curtains apart, expecting the worst, but when I looked out, my heart slammed into my throat. Not even the darkest part of my imagination could have prepared me for this. Yeah, I'm going to keep it. It sounds like a World War II book. And yeah, I'm going to keep it. 3 more to go. Here we go. This one is called Mint Juleps and Justice. And I am going to keep it because I have a signed copy. So apparently I met this author at BookCon. I have not read the book yet, and I'm going to try to read it. It is subscribed to me. Yeah. So I'm going to keep that one. And let's try One September Morning. And I believe that this is about, or maybe not. I don't know. All right. I thought it was about a 9/11, but maybe not. All right. So it takes place in Iraq in 2006. The king is dead. Americans will no longer turn on their televisions to watch him run the ball through a pack of hulking football players, breaking free to loop into the end zone. Viewers of the nightly news will not see him in a combat helmet and desert khakis, flashing a smile and telling a reporter about a community program he facilitated to get school supplies for Iraq children. He won't come bounding into the barracks to rouse the guys for a race or to hand one out the candy or nuts or clean cotton sheets he just received in a package from home. No more soldiers gathering to bask in the presence of the king. No more jokes from the big guy. I don't know. It's so hard to get rid of something and you only read the first paragraph. Everything you can change in a day. And then Jodi Picoult, which is one of my favorite authors, she quoted on the front, it says readers of Jodi Picoult will love One September Morning. I think I'm going to read a little bit more because I didn't really get much from the first paragraph. So yeah, I'm going to put that in my save pile. And the last book is called The Memory Box. And let's see what this one's about. Chapter 1. Friday, September 22nd, 2006 at 2:38 p.m. It's impossible to unknown a secret. Once you know it, you own it. It can't be returned like a borrowed book or burned like a love letter. The click of a mouse won't delete it from the conscious mind. It'll stick to the walls of your memory like dried oatmeal to a dish. The secrets you wish you never knew became a burden to lug, a bowling ball without holes. So I want to read a little bit more, so I am going to keep it. So how many did I get rid of this time? Not really much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I only got rid of 8 books, but 8 out of 50. So the ones that I got rid of is It Comes in Waves, True, Keeper of the Lost Cities, Conspiracy of Ravens, How to Build a Girl, Spy Mom, Unwritten, and Sparrow Hill Road. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. I believe that we will be moving on to the next letter of the alphabet for Monday. I believe we are up to O. So I have O and P probably for next Monday. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye.